Hi there, Cancer. It's Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. It's March 2020, and I'm just taking a look at this traffic jam. You've still got it there in the relationship sector of your horoscope. Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Mars, and the South Node all here in this marital and relationship area. So there's some good news coming though, because you've had this here for a couple of years. This slow-moving, inhibitive Saturn, which has caused some issues to your relationships. And this month as well, we can see the retrograde movement of Mercury, which is the communications planet. And that also has to have an impact, being in the third house of your relationships. It rules the third house of your sun sign. And it's in the third house of your relationships. Let's get this chart animated so we can see a little bit of movement here and see what's going on. And you'll notice that because that's had an inhibitive influence on you, right now that communication may be going a little bit sideways as well. The retrograde Mercury for you is not a great thing. So you have to be extremely careful, especially in this first few days of the month, in terms of what you're putting forward. After the 4th here, you see this transit of the moon, and it's getting brighter and brighter. A little bit of a worrisome conjunction here with what we call the North Node, or Rahu. And then we see as well the conjunction of Venus, the natural planet of love, and your home affairs and your peace of mind, moving into this destabilizing conjunction in this 11th house. The 11th house has to do with your friendships. It's also got to do with your cherished desires. And because it's the planet relating to your peace of mind, and look how close it is here around the 7th and the 8th, this will be impacting you before this actually gets to this exact conjunction, but that destabilizes your friendships, along with this retrograde Mercury, which around the 8th or 9th goes stationary. See this little S here? That just basically means that the two cars moving on the highway, one's going faster, the one appears to be going backwards. It starts to catch up, and then when they're at the same speed, they appear to be stationary. So that's what's happening there. And then around the 11th, it moves forward. So that's the time when you can get your communications back on track, and keep your eye also here on Saturn, the relationship planet, because that's going to move out of here, as I may have mentioned, after 2.5 years of really hamstringing you in the relationships, partnerships, public relations. Just your general approach to the world as a whole has not been altogether going your way, if I could put it that way. Now that full moon, which I just missed because I'm talking too much, took place here in the third house, again, the communications area. So you see how we see repetitive themes coming through to show us exactly what the month is going to be like. It's nice at this time, just after the halfway mark of March. Venus is moving away considerably from Uranus, and this is a beautiful position for your social engagements, for getting that extra cash that you've been waiting for. And I'm still waiting for Saturn to move out of this area. Not long. The Mars and Jupiter combination here shows, as well, along with the moon here around the 18th, big plans for your relationships. Sometimes too, in some systems of astrology, this 7th house has to do with movement or travels. That's also shown by the Sun, Neptune and Mercury, which has, as I mentioned earlier, gone into that forward movement into this 9th house. Could be an excellent time for planning your travels, planning new educational pursuits, legal cases, contracts, because this planet aspects fully its own third house. That's not only communication, but it has to do with your agreements with other people. Now take a look, there it is. That's the big one I was waiting for, March 22nd, and it coincides with that ingress, what we call the ingress, or the movement of Saturn in the Sun into your 10th house of career. That's exceptional. So this is the forward motion you've been waiting for. The shift away from this, I call it a damaging aspect. It's not particularly good for your relationships, and that's been putting a damper on things for some time. But simultaneously having the Sun move into this 10th house is wonderful, especially with the new moon here on the 25th, 26th. You see that the new moon here is taking place in your 10th house of career. So that gives you the thumbs up to move forward, to acquire a new position. A leadership role perhaps could be in the offing as this month starts to wind down. You've also got that movement of Mars, which is going to exacerbate the problem, and you've got a bit of frustration still lingering here. You'll notice that this is going to play out till the end of the month, because we're getting towards the end here, 29th. It's not until next month that I'll tell you what and where this is likely to impact now that Saturn has moved out of this area. But most certainly, I'd say one of the big features here in the last week of the month is the new moon and its occurrence in the 10th house, which is the career area. Your self-esteem will be high. This gives you a lot of energy, physical vitality as well. You've got that Venus bringing with it the unexpected elements in the early part of the month, but a beautiful social element there to it, meeting new friends, the fact that it influences your 5th house. We call it drishti in Hindu astrology, or the glance, the look. The planets actually look at different parts of the heavens, and Western astrologers call them aspects, but normally the Western astrologers look at the aspects between two planets. They usually overlook the fact that a planet doesn't have to be in aspect to another planet, although we do see here beautiful influences taking place between Venus and Jupiter, very lucky for your relationships, but also looking at empty houses. They actually do have an impact, even if there aren't any planets there. And so I think the end of the month finishes on a very, very good note. Don't forget to take a look at what I've got written up for you there on the monthly synopsis, which is at astrology.com.au, my website. We've got the daily readings, we've got that full year scope that you can take a look at so you can contextualize this. And by all means, drop me a line if you're looking for a more personalized experience and what astrology has to say about you, your birth time, the place you were born, your unique destiny. I'm happy to do that for you. Just drop me a line. Subscribe too while you're at it, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.